Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Jonnychipz Weekly. My name is John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz, and this is episode number 55. It is Friday, the 14th of January, 2022, and this is Jonnychipz Weekly. So enjoy. So yes, good afternoon if you're in the UK, and thanks for tuning in. This is Jonnychipz Weekly, so it's another weekly episode of this show. Like I said, like I've been saying over the last few weeks, I've been trying to kind of change this up, do a few bits and pieces, just tweaking, playing with things, new tech, new microphones, new cameras, new green screen, all this new tech. I'm just having a little bit of a play and having a little hunt around to see what works and what doesn't work. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the show. As always, comment and feedback is really appreciated. Let me know what you think works, what doesn't work. I'm really interested in changing this show up now over the coming months to facilitate something different if I can. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump on over. We'll do this week's community call out. Okie dokie. So let's start off with Andrew Brown then. So I was fortunate enough to hook up with Andrew on one of his Twitter Space chats not too long back with Greg Asuti, and it's great. I mean, there's some fantastic people that join these chats, and they're well worth getting involved with. Some great hints and tips and insights into the industry, effectively. Andrew's got a series of these Twitter Space chats coming up now over the coming weeks, all around getting hired at some of these top companies. So we've got one getting hired at Microsoft, getting hired at VMware, same with Google Cloud and AWS. So as you can see there, starting from January the 18th next week, you've got some great guests on the show. So if you do get a chance, go and follow Andrew and get involved, because they do attract quite a lot of people. So if you're interested in some of those insights, go and have a little look-see. Moving on, quick shout out to Shabazz and Victor from the point of view that they've released the SC400 book, which is all around information protection. So that is out now, available on Amazon. If you are interested in looking at studying for that exam, go and check that out. So congratulations to Shabazz and Victor that book is out and in the wild, so to speak. So go and check it out. And moving on, so Joe tweeted this out the other day. So Joe and Thomas, they every year do the Azure Spring Clean. Looks like they're getting prepped ready for 2022. So go and give Joe and Thomas a follow. And obviously follow the hashtag as Azure Spring Clean, and go to azurespringclean.com. The call for speakers are going to be coming out fairly soon. So if you are interested in doing something for that event, then hook up and get involved. Moving on, in the same note, in terms of DevOps, April Edwards, as we know, has taken over the Azure DevOps channel on YouTube. She's putting out some fantastic content with some brilliant people from across the community, from across the Microsoft space, all around the wonderful world of DevOps. So go and subscribe to the DevOps Lab. Go and follow them on Twitter. Go and give April a shout out. Yes, like I say, some fantastic videos coming out, really helping the likes of me, that don't come from that software development background as such, really helping me understand a lot deeper where we kind of need to be, I guess, or we're working towards in terms of DevOps in operations. So go and check that out. And thanks, April, for pulling all that together for us all. Quick shout out to our friends over in the 365 space. Obviously, we've got friends, colleagues, and some of us cross-pollinate both sides of the cloud stack in Microsoft terms. Comsverse is out, so it's the Microsoft Hybrid Workspace conference. I've not been down to it myself. I know they had obviously COVID has caused no end of problems with conferences over the last couple of years. I caught on that Comsverse did manage to go ahead after later on last year, so it looked like a fantastic event. They've got the call for speakers out for this year's event, so Converse 2022 is taking place at the end of June this year. If you do want to speak or submit a session to it for consideration, go and follow the team at Comsverse on Twitter and drop your session over. So thanks for that, everyone. And moving on, Knots IoT. So Knots IoT returns for its first meetup of 2022, and it's Sander van der Velde. Great guy in the community doing some fantastic stuff around AI, IoT, really clever stuff Sander's involved with at the moment. He's putting a talk on around LoRaWAN, those low radio wave communication devices to kind of facilitate communications for low-powered IoT devices. He's coming on to do a talk with Knots IoT about that, so that'll be really interesting talk. So I'm going to do my best to sign up for that one, and if not, I'm going to have to watch it on a replay. There's always too much stuff in the community. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Thanks to the team at Knots IoT and obviously Sander for that. So that's the 20th of January, 6:30 BST. Have we gone over to BST now, have we? Oh, I got to check my calendar. Is it BST or GMT? I don't know. We'll check. Anyhow, go and check that out and check your clocks. Yeah, quick shout out in terms of Danny de Klerk. So this session is really around accessibility. So we know at the moment that making comms, making IT, making anything that we do accessible is really should be paramount to all of our thoughts and feelings. So Denny is putting on this Reactor event on the 17th of January, really talking about how do we put this accessibility into tech? How do we put it into practice in tech, like practical examples? So on this occasion, it's around autism in technology. So Denny is putting that on. Really looking forward to that session. 17th of January, 5 p.m. GMT. So we are GMT, are we? 5 p.m. Go and get registered over on the Reactor channel. If you don't know where that is, either follow Denny. I'm sure Denny will have a link. Follow me, or head on over to the Reactor meetup page and go and get yourselves registered for that, because that will be quite an interesting topic to talk about. So moving on, Mr. Simon Lee has put together quite a cool, I know he was messaging me over this and showing me the bits and pieces that he's been doing it, and he's really worked hard at this. So it's really about getting PowerShell installed. Almost, well, I believe he's managed to get it working now in terms of, you know, a couple of script commands essentially to get all your various PowerShell. I know he's going to be increasing that and getting other things installed at the same time, so readline PowerShell of correct modules. I know he was looking at Oh My Posh as well, so go and check that out. Go and follow Simon, head on over to his GitHub repo and go and check that out and see if that's something that you can actually use in a good capacity. So yeah, thanks for that, Simon. This caught my eye from Thomas Thornton, you know, fantastic. Cool idea, to be honest. I mean, using a Stream Deck, so using the Elgato Stream Deck, he's actually kicking off and getting feedback from his CI/CD pipeline runs just at the click of one of the Stream Deck buttons, which I found very cool indeed. So if that is of interest to you, go and head over and go and give that a read and look how Thomas has got that all up and running and working. So yeah, great little thought and really interesting concept there, Thomas. So thanks for sharing that with us. AZ800 is absolutely an exam that's on my radar for this year. So Orin Thomas has put together really a set of, well, a learning path effectively with all modules that he can find that are related to administering Windows Server hybrid core infrastructure. He's put them all in one place. So he's sorted them by objective domain, which is great. And you can see there's quite a good chunk of detail in there, which, what we got, about 12, 20, 27, over 30 modules, 30 learning modules in there from Microsoft Learn. And Orin has, kindly put these together as an AZ800 collection. So if that's of interest to you, like I say, I've retweeted this. Head on over, follow Orin, and you'll find the link to it there. So yeah, thanks for pulling that together, Orin. That's certainly going to help me out a lot. I'm going to work my way through those. On another note, if you do happen to have Pluralsight licensing, then I've noticed Tim Warner has been pulling together all the various modules, which is cool. So over time now, I believe that we're going to have Tim and his Pluralsight course available for us to help us study towards that exam as well. So plenty of resources come together, which is cool to see. Okie dokie. So moving on, I managed to catch this week the AI42 or AI42 session with Goran. He came on, it's a really cool session actually, talking about using 3D modeling to produce the imagery required to train an object detection model, which is a really cool concept if you think about it. And Goran gave some really great insights and things that I'd really not really considered in my exploration, which is, when you're trying to model and capture imagery that you're going to use to train an object detection model, that whole process can be quite laborious, quite time consuming. Now, I know that firsthand through things that I've tried to do in the bits that I've been learning towards. And Goran gave a really cool example about how you can use something like Unity to produce that 3D space and that 3D model, and you could really automate the space to turn, the objects to move, so you can capture and programmatically capture a series of imagery that you could use then to train your AI model, which is really cool. So if you are interested in that, I would absolutely suggest you head over to AI42 on Twitter, find this link and click on the YouTube channel there and give that a watch. It was a fantastic session. So thank you, Goran, for that. Much appreciated. And obviously thanks to the team at AI42 for arranging that. And moving on, INE, yeah. So I've had some really great interactions with Mike Pfeiffer over the last year or so. He's a great guy. He's a community guy. He's also got his own clouds. Well, he had cloudskills.io, which was fantastic cloud training company. Some really fantastic news and really interesting news, I think, for the industry in terms that they've now partnered up, or they've been bought out by INE. I don't know the details of what the deal is and what the future is of Cloud Skills, but it's certainly a positive one at that. It can only be growing and getting better. So if you're interested in cloud learnings, big shout out to Mike. Congratulations on this. So head on over to and follow at INE on the Twitters and go and get some more information. So yeah, it's really cool to see and great to see people succeeding in the business. So go and check that out. Okay, so yeah, this last few weeks, well, certainly into this new year, one of my objectives for my own learnings is really around Azure Stack, obviously of which HCI forms a part of that. I noticed Jay Gordon had retweeted this the other day, which is a video from a blog by Thomas Maurer. Thomas got some fantastic content on Azure Stack as well, so I'll certainly be using that to consume and build my own learnings up. But yeah, so there's some videos here on the bright future of Azure Stack HCI. So it seems to be being talked about quite a lot more as of late, certainly over the last few months. I'm certainly starting to see a lot more conversation within my day job around Azure Stack and the capabilities, not just of HCI, but of Hub and Edge, of course. So really just wanted to call out some of the learning content that's available for Azure Stack, and certainly stuff that I'm going to be consuming over the coming weeks. So thanks for retweeting, Jay. Much appreciated. Moving on, call for speakers for the Azure Virtual Desktop UK user group. So Neil and Shabazz are putting a call out for speakers. If you've got any passion around AVD or Windows 365, they're looking for speakers at their February event. So reach out to Neil at Virtual Mank on Twitter, or Shabazz Dar, and submit your session. Just let them know that you're available to speak if you are. So cool to see, and good luck with that, guys. Big shout out to Carl and the team at the LDNA, so the limerick.net and Azure user group. They've rebooted their sessions now for the new year. They're looking for speakers, so if you are interested, go and drop the team a line. Head over to their Sessionize page, which is there. You can follow Carl_IT_nerd to get the link, or limerick.net on Twitter to go and get that link. But yeah, call for speakers, get involved. And moving on, in the vein of community user groups, there's another user group being set up now by Charlie Goff, which is undoubtedly going to gain some traction now over the coming weeks and months. The Microsoft Cloud Security user group, they've got a call for speakers as well. So if you are in that security space or identity management space, whatever it may be, drop Charlie a line. I believe Chris Wright is involved with this user group as well. I didn't mean to do that on camera, but hey ho, there we go. Nice little sneeze there for you all. So head on over to see Charlie and Chris and submit your session to the Sessionize page for that new user group. So yeah, congrats to the team there. Looking forward to seeing what you pull together. And finally, on community call out, Mike's reminding us all that there is still a 30 days to learn it going on at the moment. So if you are interested, you can get 50% off an examination. There's all links and terms and conditions, of course. But if you head on over to aka.ms/30 days to learn, that's number 2 and learn, you can get involved, see what exams are there that take your fancy that you'd like to have a little look at. So there we go. That was community call out. Thanks to everybody for this week's call outs. Okie dokie, so let's move on quickly again. Right, in terms of the next section, we're going to have a little look at, just remind ourselves what's going on in the wonderful world of the Welsh Azure user group. So yes, our event is next week. It's less than a week away, 19th of January. Please do RSVP. Got 2 great sessions for you. We've got Aidan Finn coming on talking about introducing the Azure Image Builder. And then we've got Alpa Budavati coming on to talk about Azure SQL servers and using DevOps in that process. So 2 fantastic talks. Really looking forward to them myself. I know I'm going to get a lot out of them. 6:30 p.m. GMT, 19th of January. Follow me or follow Welsh Azure on Twitter, so at Welsh Azure. Head on over. You'll find that the RSVP link is there. If you do want to join us, please do go on RSVP. You'll get the link. It's a Teams meeting. You get the link sent out to you, and you can join us on the day and come and say hello. As always, we have a quiz. And we have prizes, so it's well worth sticking around and joining in just for a bit of fun. That will be cool. So that's the Welsh Azure for this week. Okay, so I think we'll click on over now and just have a quick look at what I've been up to. So Jonnychipz on the side for this week. Yeah, what have I been up to? So first thing, got a nice little surprise visit from my good friend Peter Gallagher and his lovely wife Amy. So they popped down. They were popping down for some family visits over the last few days, and he popped down to see what I'm up to. He actually got into the studio here and said hello to me. So it was great to see. Had a nice little catch up. Obviously, Pete's starting his new job fairly soon over at Octopus Deploy. So yeah, filled me in on the details of that. Sounds like a really great, fantastic opportunity, and certainly something. I mean, I know I've been saying to Derek for a while now, I want to get a bit more involved and understand a bit more about Octopus Deploy. So going to check that out anyway. But yeah, great to see Pete. Really great to have a catch up over a cuppa. Like I say, Pete's a fantastic guy in the community, and he's doing some fantastic things at the moment. And certainly with his move over to Octopus Deploy, really excited to see where he goes in the future with some of the community content as well. So, yeah, that was great. That was good fun. So other things that I've been doing is, as I said at the beginning of the year, one of my focuses this year is around hybrid. So really hybrid, multi-cloud. Hence why I'm looking at Arc. I will be looking at Arc in a bit more detail than I already have been. Been fortunate enough to get on a few learning bits and pieces over the years. I've used Arc a few times in various scenarios. Not a huge amount, but enough to kind of get a good broad overview of what Arc is about in terms of that management plane. But certainly all these services that are getting switched on now, certainly just not for use within Azure, but when we start looking at the multi-cloud and, of course, the hybrid kind of private cloud. So Free Code Camp has got some fantastic courses, and it's got my good friend Andrew Brown's course on there around Google, so doing the Google Digital Leader Badge, which is the kind of foundational entry-level badge for Google, and, of course, the AWS equivalent. So really I've been getting stuck into a few of those videos, so I probably spent a good 5 or 6 hours worth of my time this week watching some of those videos, which they are, to all intents and purposes, entry-level foundational videos. I always like to watch, like I keep saying to people now, is as much as you may think that you've done, or the much as you have done in your day job, it always helps sometimes to go back and revisit those fundamental questions, because I think certainly for me over time, you tend to forget, or you take for granted the things that you think you know. And what I found is that when you try and recall things from foundational levels, they're there, but you sometimes miss some of the little detail points or the nuances in it. So I very much have been rewatching some of these videos. Great channel there. Like I say, Andrew Brown's content is on there for Google Cloud that I've been watching. So I just wanted to call that out. And of course, that's leading up to the AZ600 exam, which is the Configure and Operating Hybrid Cloud with Microsoft Azure Stack Hub. Now, I know Thomas Maurer has done that exam. He's done a great learning path that I've been dipping in and out of. But equally, the skills measured are quite wide and diverse. So I've been following through the skills measured, looking at the MCT courses as well, and really starting to work my way through. And I've got, in fairness, again, Microsoft Learn have got all of this really covered off fantastically well on the Microsoft Learn side. So if you are looking to do a similar approach, like I say, for me at the moment, it's this blend of looking at Azure Stack in amongst looking at G Cloud, the foundational exams of G Cloud and AWS. So I think that's going to probably fill in the next couple of months worth of effort for me to really learn as deeply as I can. But of course, there's so much fantastic things, so many more fantastic things going on. It's really about trying to focus on these areas for me at the moment. So that's what I've been up to this week. Anyway, back on over. Okie dokie. So that's it for those three sections this week. We will now head on over to the Azure news and updates for this week. So let's go and do that. And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's Azure News and Updates. So, yeah, as always, this section is the Azure News and Updates section of the show this week. I'm hoping that this will evolve over time, that I can do a cut-down version and introduce some news and updates across the cloud stack. Now, I've got all my links sorted. I've started looking at AWS and G Cloud announcements. I'm just going to give this a bit of a rethink now over the coming weeks of how I can kind of couple these together and start looking at some synergy across the clouds and see if we can find some trends and what's going on. But for now, I'm glad to announce that I may have a roving reporter back. So, Keith, are you there?
This is Keith Atherton on standby for Microsoft Azure Updates. Breaking news, I'm just hearing now that Azure policy support for Azure Site Recovery is now generally available. Azure Site Recovery helps you protect your mission-critical applications from outages, and you can now use Azure Policy to enable Azure Site Recovery for your VMs at scale. Great news. John, back to you at the studio.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot, Keith. That's Mr. Keith Atherton there. Thanks for being my roving reporter for this week. And you're absolutely right, Keith. I think it's fair to say that Azure policy support for Azure Site Recovery is fantastic. I mean, not only the points that you raised there, but you can also you can enable replication for VMs at scale, and it'll also help maintain that governance in organizational standards. So, you can kind of monitor the compliance and looking at the policy names and assignments page, and if they're non-compliant, you can obviously use that whole concept of that remediation task to do that as well. So it's fantastic to see that's gone GA. So huge thanks for the shout out there, Mr. Atherton. Really is appreciated. In other news this week, we've had some automation updates on Azure Backup. So Azure Backup's released lots of enhancements over the last 12 months. So to things like its programmatical interfaces that enable efficiencies at scale and reduce that human error. There's a whole series here of what they've actually done in terms of releasing those automation updates to Azure Backup. So if you're interested in the detail, head on over to the Azure News and Updates page. There's a whole series of links and bits and pieces that you can look at to see what those updates have been over the last 12 months, which is great to see. Azure Ultra Disk Storage, it's now generally available over in West US 3. I mean, it's one of these things where data center regions, and they're not all alike. Some regions will get services and features before other regions. So it's good that they call out. I mean, West US 3 is one of the newer regions in Azure, so they're just calling out the Ultra Disk Storage is now GA in that region. Generally available load balancer SKU upgrade through PowerShell scripts. So you can now upgrade your Azure load balancer from basic to standard SKU by using a PowerShell script. So updating to the standard SKU, the load balancer enables the network traffic layer to drive higher performance and stronger resiliency. So along with an improved integration experience with other Azure services, the PowerShell script creates a standard SKU load balancer with the same configurations as the basic load balancer. In addition, the script migrates the backend resources to the standard load balancer for you. So that's great to see. So if you do need to do that, move from basic to standard, there is a PowerShell script available for you to do that now, which is cool. Also GA, multiple custom BGP AP IPA addresses for active VPN gateways. Okay, what do we got here? So all SKUs of active VPN gateways now support multiple custom BGP APA addresses for each instance. So that's the automatic private IP addressing addresses are commonly used in BGP IP addresses for that VPN connectivity. So many on-premise VPN devices requiring multiple custom API/IPA addresses for BGP. This feature enables BGP connections to AWS and other cloud platforms. So great to see. And moving on, public preview announcement. We've got Azure Static Web Apps Enterprise Grade Edge. Okay, so use Azure Static Web Apps Enterprise Grade Edge in public preview to increase your website page load speed, enhance the security, and optimize reliability for your global applications. So it combines the capabilities of Azure Static Web Apps, Azure Front Door, and Azure Content Delivery Network standard into a single secure cloud CDN platform. So key features included with the Azure Static Web Apps Enterprise Grade Edge. God, that's a lot of words. Include global presence in 118 plus edge locations. There's proactive protection against DDoS attacks, so that distributed denial of service attack. And there's native support end-to-end IPv6 and HTTP2 protocols. So that's in public preview. So there's announcements of price reductions for Azure Confidential Computing. So part of Microsoft's commitment to delivering the best possible value for Azure Confidential Computing, Microsoft are announcing a price reduction on the DC SV2 and DC SV3 series VMs by up to 33%. So the price reduction enables the data protection benefits of ACC with no premium compared to the general purpose VMs on a per physical core basis. So cool to see. We're all in favor of cost reductions. And finally, GA, Azure Sphere OS version 22.01 is expected on the 26th of Jan. So if you are using Azure Sphere for any of your devices or embedded things, go and check that out and make sure you're geared up if you need to get that updated. So that's the news for this week. Thanks everybody for watching. Until next week, let's move on. Okie dokie. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Really is appreciated. Hope you've enjoyed this week's show. Like I say, the title of this video was Enjoy. And that is really a key thing for me. Just enjoy. Enjoy everything you do. Enjoy, get involved, do things to the best of your ability, but just enjoy it. Yeah, that's all you need to do. So for now, I've been John Lunn, aka Jonnychipz, and this has been Jonnychipz Weekly. See you all soon.